Everything is so offensive these days. But hold on, let's unpack that a bit, especially when it comes to our interactions with children. As a parent coach, I work with parents each and every day. And one of the most important things that I focus on is building a secure bond and attachment between a caregiver and the child in their care. And part of that work is identifying the child's temperament, assessing your parenting style, and then evolving the parenting style to help support the child in filling needs and building skills. No matter our generation, Gen X or Millennial, it's true that parenting styles may be different. But here's the thing: times change and research evolves. And that research may show how we interact with children leaves heavy impacts on their development. It's understandable why some, when faced with that knowledge, become defensive. They may interpret that new information as criticism or blame on their previously past practices. But let's remember, this is not about blame, it's about progress and doing better. In the video that this comment is attached to is highlighting the impacts of being passive aggressive to children. Now, is it about being overly sensitive and accommodating to a child? Absolutely not. It's really about realizing our role in building that secure attachment and being a safe caregiver in a child's development. And that's the responsibility that an adult plays in that relationship. So, what is having a secure attachment? Imagine it like the emotional GPS that a child and caregiver begin to develop. It's what helps teach the child to trust that their needs, as they're being communicated, are going to be met. And in that trust, it helps build a space where the child can explore the world and develop. So, how does being passive aggressive mess with that GPS? Well, the first is that it sends mixed messages. If a parent sighs instead of communicating their frustration, the child becomes confused. It's like, what I'm seeing and what you're saying don't line up. The second is that it teaches children to bottle up emotions. Kids will learn how to avoid expressing. When children learn to bottle up their emotions and avoid expressing it in direct and helpful ways, it can lead to unhealthy communication patterns down the road when they are in friendships and partnerships and in work relationships that require those skills, ultimately resulting in that conflict resolution just getting lost. Passive aggression doesn't teach healthy ways to communicate and solve problems. And when children experience that, they inherit those tools, and that's only setting them up to use those tools and perpetuate the cycle of negativity. But here's the good news, right? And here's the good news. When we become aware of this way that we've been acting that may be ineffective in its practice, we can choose to learn and adapt. And in this scenario, open and honest and vulnerable communication is key. Using tools of emotional maturity and emotional intelligence here will help bridge that gap so that you can find real solutions that everyone can navigate through feeling safe. It's not about these new trends being overly sensitive. It's being sensitive to the development and empowering children by teaching them the tools that will help keep them successful in the long term. And fostering healthy development of children should be something that we all agree on. As a parent coach, I teach my clients a 5-step method called the CLEAR method. And if you are still here, I will teach it to you now. This is a step-by-step approach that helps teach families how to navigate conflict safely and together. The first step is connection. This helps us focus on ways that builds that emotional safety and vulnerability between the caregiver and the child. The goal of connection is that the child feels seen, heard, and understood. The second step of CLEAR is limits. This can be boundaries and routines and agreements and limits that we set. The goal of the limits step is to get everybody on the same page. Once we feel connected and once we're on the same page, now we can move into empowerment. This helps your child have a sense of control and autonomy. The goal of empowerment is giving your child the exact space to make choices and learn how to problem solve and have healthy decision making skills. After they've made the choice, it naturally leads into the A, which is accountability. Accountability holds everyone accountable, the child and the caregiver. It's the follow through step that allows most often the natural but also logical consequence to follow, rolling into the last step, which is recovery. This is the step that we get into reflection and repair work. The goal of recovery is allowing us to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes and make the necessary repairs so that we can fill those gaps and build those skills together, reconnecting us back into connection. So instead of the unhelpful negative cycle, we can start to ask ourselves, are we being clear? And start practicing a new cycle. You don't have to do this work alone. By learning effective communication skills and by learning positive parenting tools, you can build a strong, safe relationship with your child, one that allows them to express themselves and allows you to express yourself in safe and healthy ways. If you're looking for support in this zone, I highly encourage you to check out all of my spaces of support in my bio link. I am here to build a world where communication is clear, emotions are validated, and we all have a very attuned GPS.